some errands to go out and run this morning, but welcome aboard. We're glad to have you with us for a while this morning.
Several cups of coffee might motivate you for doing some repairs around the house. Do you do any painting?
I'm known as Mr. Semi-Gloss Latex in my neighborhood, as a matter of fact.
You're known as that in my neighborhood, too. I don't understand
I'm
that.
famous far and wide. No, I do quite a bit, but after a while, every once in a while, I'm ready to move away from it.
That's right.
I'm ready to move away from it right now.
I'm sure a lot of people feel that way. Well, just take it to me then. You know, when it comes to painting, especially moldings and trims, those can be the most difficult for any inexperienced painter. But this morning, our handyman, Dale Cranston, shows us how to prepare for that big job in today's Around the House.
There's a lot of different tips, a lot of different things that we've been doing, and we just take them for granted. We've been doing them for so long. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share a couple of these little tips with you. Here, what we do is we start out by sanding. Okay, now what we use at this stage is 100 grit or 120 grit C weight. If you fold it in half and you go to sand, see, it just slips like that. It's not quite as efficient. So we fold it in thirds, it gives us a good grip, and then we can do our sanding, get our sanding job done. So once we get it sanded, then we'll move on to our next product, which would be liquid sandpaper. We'll just put some on the rag here. You might want to use some gloves or something if your hands are a little bit tender or something. But now what this is, it's just more insurance policies. In other words, we're trying to get this good, expensive paint that we have to adhere to this. So we've sanded it, and we use liquid sandpaper. And what we've arrived with is we've used oil base on the trim, and we really like the Satin Impervo by Benjamin Moore. Well, that's why I need to keep thinners around. Now, I don't use paint thinner. I use xylene. It's a hotter, more powerful thinner. It's a little bit smellier, but you use less of it. What I do is I add a 1/4 inch on the top of whatever size container I have. So if it's a quart, or if it's a gallon, or if it's a 5-gallon bucket, I'll pour in enough. I'll pour it in there until there's just like a 1/4 inch of the liquid on top. And what you want to do is use a good brush. Buy a good brush, costs about $12 or $15. And this is a pure China bristle, again, for oil base. But what I'll do is I'll get a little bit onto my surface here. You put your little bead like just a 1/4 inch away from where you want it to actually be. Then you come by and just flare the bristles. See if I can get this. And it pushes it over there.
Now, Dale tells us that the same procedure can be used on furniture as well for a painted by a professional appearance. Now, Rich, we were discussing probably the most enjoyable parts of painting are the scraping and the preparation beforehand,
Yes.
the sanding.
Yes, that's absolutely correct. You never, when you hear somebody talk about painting, you never hear them say the words scraping or sanding. Painting is, that's duck soup. That's the easy part.
One of Dale's biggest tips that he always gives us, though, is if you do some of that in advance, it makes it easier to clean up when you're done if you do it well.
That is for sure.
Good preparation.